Yeah, my name's Sarah Miller and I'm the CEO of the Rediscovery Centre in Ballymun. Basically what we're trying to do is lead the change from waste to resource. And we do that through reuse, redesign, education and research. We've been operating since 2005 in Ballymun. We're very much a local project, but we are very much setting out with a global ambition. So we like to think that we're getting people to rediscover value and very much to rediscover the value in waste. I'm going to show a short video because it very quickly describes all of the activities that we're doing at the moment. We're involved in a lot of stuff, so this is probably the most succinct way. It's not exactly up to Duncan's standards, I don't think, but it'll give you an idea of what we're actually doing.
So the Rediscovery Centre is an environmental social enterprise, and we're aimed at changing behaviour, particularly in relation to waste minimisation and waste prevention and reuse. So in our workshops we teach people how to use a sewing machine, how to make some alterations to their own clothing, how to recycle, how to reuse materials, perhaps how to restore a piece of furniture.
You're welcome to Rediscover Furniture, where we take items that the public generally don't want anymore and we give them a new lease of life. I'm the workshop trainer. And I train the participants on the scheme in various skills to do with repairing and restoring items of furniture. Items that are for sale here at the workshop are generally the items that we have for reuse, which would have taken relatively little work. The items that are in for sale in our eco-store are generally of a higher standard. We would have had a lot more work involved, and we try to be, as up-to-date and fashionable as possible with our redesigning and our upcycling.
This is Rediscover Cycling. We run a repair shop. Local people bring in their bikes. We repair them using recycled parts. We also rescue bikes from local recycling centres that would have been destined for landfill. We rebuild them, refurbish them for reuse, give them another piece of life.
The key thing is that we want people to think about what they purchase and try and change consumer habits. We don't always have to be buying new things all the time. The other thing is to make people realise that something that they believe might be ready for the bin isn't always necessarily, and that with a little bit of work, a little bit of attention, it can actually be turned into a product that has a much longer life than they would have expected.
Here at Rediscover Fashion, we're all about textile reuse. In our workshops, we take in donations of unwanted textiles through businesses, individuals and other organisations, and within our workshop we redesign and upcycle the textiles into new clothing collection and bespoke designs, made and produced like any other high fashionable piece. Our capsule collections are not only designed and made for you to purchase off the rail, but you can also come and visit us, pick your fabric, or if you even have fabric sitting at home and have that designed, made, tailor-made for you.
The Rediscovery Centre brings together the skills and expertise of scientists, engineers, mechanics, craft workers and designers. Together we work to change behaviour in relation to waste reuse and waste prevention.
This is Rediscover Paints, and what we do here is we recycle paint and sell it on to the customers who join basically a membership. We go to the recycling centres and we take paint back and we recycle it, re-sieve it to the customer's requirements. In relation to the colours, a customer can come in with a colour chart from any of the manufacturers and we will copy that colour. The Rediscover Paint membership is €30 a year for the minimum fee, and that entitles you to 50 litres of paint, €75 for 150 litres of paint, and €150 for 300 litres of paint.
As a local enterprise in Ballymun, we employ local people and we also provide training and education programmes. The whole idea is to give people skills that will give them opportunities to get back into the workplace.
Education is actually central to the whole Rediscovery Centre ethos and operations. Through education and through dealing with primary schools and secondary schools, we're actually able to look at maybe changing their behaviour and their perception, specifically with regard to waste and waste management and looking at natural resources. So with our education programme we try to target everybody, so we offer workshops to primary schools, secondary schools, third level, businesses and also to the local community. Here in Ballymun we offer 3 different types of workshops, so we can do one based on waste, one on energy and one on biodiversity.
Lots of information about the projects and all of our businesses can be found on www.rediscoverycentres.ie. I suppose what we do really in, 3 simple sentences is that we divert waste from landfill, we provide community employment and training, and we try to inspire sustainable living. And all of this is trying to bring about kind of more low carbon living lifestyles, and within that trying to advocate for the circular economy as well. Why we do it is I suppose, a fairly clear story at the minute, and it's all about the consumption of natural resources. I think everybody is aware at this stage that we're consuming much more than we're able to, or we should be. I suppose key to that, there are some ethical issues as well, given that 1 billion of the wealthiest individuals of the world are actually consuming 74% of the natural materials that we actually have. And whilst 1 billion of the poorest people in the world consume 1%. So it's quite an uneven world that we live in the moment. I suppose here in Europe, on average, we consume about 16 tons of materials per year. In Ireland, we're probably closer to 50 tons a year, which is quite worrying. And if we were going to, I suppose, translate that into, on a global basis, just the way we live at the moment, we'd need 4.5 planets, which, as far as I know, we haven't managed to figure out a way of how to do that yet. So I think we need to find another way of living, really. That's what we do, really, in the Rediscovery Centre. The video kind of describes what we do and how we do it. We run a number of social enterprises. We started up in 2006 with the Furniture Recycling Initiative. At the moment, we have 8 people working on that programme, long-term unemployed people, who come to the centre to gain skills in carpentry, furniture design, upcycling, and they work alongside Ger Griffin, who is an experienced furniture designer and restoration person. And they basically get skills that can enable them to get back into the workplace. And the progression rates from our activities to long-term employment or back into education is 50%, which is actually very high on a kind of a national basis in relation to progression. The next project that we started up with after that was actually Rediscover Paint. And that's a really simple project. So again, it works on that basis that it's very, very easy to do, and there are multiple benefits. So it's very simple. Lots of people have leftover paint. Most people have a couple of tins in a garage or in a drawer or in their house. And basically what happens with that is local recycling centres collect it. And anything that's water-based, we go along to the recycling centres and we take it and we bring it back to our workshop. And then we blend it for people and we make new colours, whatever they want for their house. And they can get paint from us at a very low cost, but also it has huge environmental impact, because most of the paint, regardless of whether it's hazardous or water-based, gets sent overseas for incineration at the moment. And again, that has environmental impacts, but it also has huge financial impacts for us as well. Rediscover Fashion then, we started in 2008, and that was really about trying to change people's behaviour, again in relation to consumption, but also getting people to think about what skills they could maybe apply themselves at home, and to look at what was in their wardrobe to see, is there something that you can do to modernise maybe clothing that you have, but also to look at creating new products from waste materials. There are a lot of organisations there that have waste materials, or people who are going out of business, or even just people clearing out houses that have tons and tons of fabric. We're putting about 200,000 tons of textiles into landfill at the moment, which is crazy because most of it is perfectly good and definitely be able to be used. And at the moment, what we do with that is we create new homeware products, and we also have a complete fashion line called Rediscover Fashion, which brings out seasonal collections like any other label, and you can come along and you can buy a piece of eco-fashion and have your own little bit of atelier that's basically made especially for you, but it also has a less detrimental impact on the environment. So that's where that whole project, I suppose, stemmed from. And then finally, Rediscover Cycling, we started off, we were working in partnership with Roher, and again, it's just a very simple idea. There are a lot of bicycles out there that are bicycle pieces or bicycle parts. There are lots of old bicycles that are lying in people's gardens that are rusted, and we give people the opportunity to kind of bring those to us, and we'll look after them, give them a bit of love, and get them back onto the market again. And anything that we sell, basically the money goes back into the project. We're a not-for-profit organisation and we're a charity. So the money that we actually make from our sales goes back into providing training, but also in running the company as well. So it kind of has a nice circular economy activity going on, which is self-financing. As mentioned in the video, alongside all of that, we do a lot of education and research work. So we have some scientists working with us who do a lot of research, so we get funding through research programs as well, which help supplement some of the activities that we do. And I suppose our next big phase is about trying to develop a whole new concept in education, which we're calling the 3D textbook. And the idea behind this is that we want to take together all the best learning opportunities from the cultural, the built, and the natural environment and bring them together in one centre where people can come to actually learn about the circular economy, but do so by just being in the presence of a national centre. So the project itself came about because we were looking, I suppose, for a home. And one of the things that was happening at the time in Ballymun was that a lot of the buildings were being knocked down. And one building in particular, which was the old boiler house, was due for demolition. And we recognised it as a space that we could reuse to, number one, have a house that we could all be in together, because at the moment we're in various different locations throughout Ballymun. So have one space where we could centralise all our activity, but also add to it. So the education programs that we run in the moment, they're run in a very basic classroom, basically. And what we wanted to do was, when people came to us to have a workshop or to be involved in some of our education programs, that they could see all of the activity that goes on, and they could actually interact with the natural environment as well. And even more than that, that the building itself could be an educational tool. So it's been built to best practice in terms of resource efficiencies, water, energy, biodiversity, and waste management. We went to the department with our first discussion to say that if we could find some way of getting some money together, would they give us the building, which was due for demolition? And as well as that, would they give us the money that they were going to spend in demolishing that building and also reinstating the site? So we got approval for that, and we went off to Europe under the LIFE programme in 2012. And we were unsuccessful that time, but they came back to us and they said, well, you know, if you're interested, we think it's a good project, but this is where we thought you could do a little more, or this is where you thought you could bring a bit more strength to it. So we listened to them and we went back again and we submitted another application in 2013, and we received notification in April that that application was successful. So we're delighted by that. It's a massive challenge. We've got a lot of work to do over the next 3 years, but we got 3.6 million to do it, which is quite a lot of money for us, and we're obviously very happy about it. We're very much on the journey, as Sandy talks about. We're only beginning to really have an impact outside of Ballymun, but the idea is to set up a national centre where people can come and interact with us, and we want it to be established as almost like a national academy, so other organisations like the Repair Cafe and activities all over Ireland can come and gain skills and then go out and work with other communities to kind of develop this idea of a sustainable community. So I guess it's kind of watch this space more than anything, and let's hope it all works. Thanks.